Would a Nick Foles Super Bowl win change your mind on the season Carson Wentz had, meaning it would be less impressive?
If he wins a Super Bowl? Yeah, it has to. I mean, am I the only one that cares about the rules? Am I the only one around here that cares about being logically consistent?
Oh,
The
wow.
rules
It
that
has
you're
to.
not being.
Get off your high horse.
You're not being logically
No.
consistent. You're not even being logically consistent because earlier in the show, you argued that it doesn't matter that Matt Castle or Jimmy Garoppolo had great seasons or had great runs while Brady was playing, that it doesn't take anything away from Brady. But now you're going to argue that because Foles might have a couple good games, that somehow it takes away from the fact that Carson Wentz had a 75.9, I think, QBR. Best in the NFL. 33 interceptions and 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. And when you watch his plays, they're
Are you going first now? Is that what we're doing? Are you going first?
I'm calling you out. Yes, I'm going first. When you say something so absurd, I must jump in and save the viewers from listening to that nonsense. You're not being logically consistent. And your argument about that does not match up with what you said about Brady. Over the course of this season, for 13 games, Carson Wentz was the MVP of the league. The fact that Foles is able to put together 2 good games at the end of the season does not make it any less on Carson Wentz. Anyone whose opinion it should change on is just more credit for the coaching staff, from Doug Peterson, who I've been impressed with since Wentz started, to Frank Reich, former Maryland Terp and the comeback king. Frank Reich at the offensive coordinator, who's fantastic, and even the defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz. They all helped Carson have this good season, and they have done even more astoundingly great things to prop up Nick Foles for the last few games. I'll get out your way and let you say something foolish and then let Damian come back in and finish you off.
Yeah, Will, defend yourself.
Put us back. Would you put us back in a 3-box, please? I don't understand this. If I am so, first of all, why don't y'all run down the hallways and see if you can grab, I don't know, Jalen Rose and 4 or 5 other people, because apparently 3-on-1 isn't enough to defeat me. You got Damian. I don't know what you're going to do yet, Damian, but we're about to find out.
Now, this is a filibuster. This is a
Will is doing all this talking. Will's doing all this talking right now, and you haven't made not 1 point yet. What's the deal?
Yeah.
I haven't been allowed to talk.
Okay, we want to hear you.
Go.
I've been watching Molly go like this while Dominique talks.
Filibustering again. Filibustering again.
You're just like your Cowboys, always distracted. Stay focused.
All right, listen here. Am I the only one that cares about the rules and logical consistency? First of all, number one, it's a joke, Dominique, that you just compared Carson Wentz to Tom Brady. It's a joke that you compared Carson Wentz's 13 games this year to Tom Brady's 17 years, 5 Super Bowls, 4 Super Bowl MVPs, 8 Super Bowl appearances. It's a joke.
The question is confined to the season.
No.
It's confined to this season. Confined to this season. It is the exact parallel.
Dominic, let him finish. Let him finish his
I can't.
full thought.
He's saying nonsense, Molly.
Will, just finish. No one's interrupting you.
If I'm so insane, it shouldn't take 3 people to interrupt me to let me finish to win. So listen, here's the logical consistency, okay? This is what I demand of you guys. This is what I demand of everybody. I come out here, I listen to the nonsense all the time. Here was the argument used against me, okay? Dak has a record-setting, historic rookie performance that people poo-poo because, look at all the weapons around Dak. Look what he's surrounded by. Look at that offensive line. Look at Zeke. He's not as great as his statistics suggest. He's not that. And so I'm here today to ask you, oh yeah? Well, what about applying that same logic to Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz's team, without him, is on the verge of a Super Bowl championship. I don't think they'll win. They're on the verge of a Super Bowl championship. That defense is obviously incredible. Their line is capable of protecting Nick Foles. They have an amazing running game. And we're not doing the same thing. We're not saying if they can win without Carson Wentz, it's suggestion that he's surrounded by something amazing and it takes away from what he's done. I'm a Carson Wentz believer. As somebody who has a fan of a team that has to compete against him for the next decade, I'm nervous. And I'm also a Nick Foles doubter. I'm a Nick Foles doubter. But the logic requires that you say, if Nick Foles wins with this, we got to look back at Carson Wentz season and go,
Listen, Will, I can't even believe you brought Dak into this whole equation. Like seriously, come on.
That's the consistency.
That's just it's just ridiculous. But I want to say this right here, and I think Dominique brought up a good point. This whole thing is not a knock on Carson Wentz. Anyone who knows anything about football knows that Carson Wentz is a much more dynamic quarterback than Nick Foles. Where you heap the praise is on the coaching staff, because I equate this whole thing to how Coach Belichick handled the quarterback situation back in 2008 when Tom Brady got hurt against the Kansas City Chiefs. Matt Castle comes in, they go 11-5. Garoppolo, we saw Garoppolo in a short sample how good he had played with the New England Patriots, ultimately trading him to the San Francisco 49ers. So this doesn't have anything to do with Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz has a bright future. He's going to be one of the stars of the National Football League. But it's more so props to the coaching staff.
That's true.
Okay.
It's more so props to the coaching staff and their ability to adapt with different personnel and still keep this train rolling.